Let's go through a breakdown of card anatomy. It's very simple, like I said a while ago. We're going to start off with there's only three things on the card itself. You've got the name, you have the character's ability, and you have the stat line. Stat line is made up of four colored numbers. We've made it to where most card gamers can understand what they are. Red being attack, green being defense, yellow being actions. That's how many things you could do per turn. So you can't go infinite. There is no infinite in this game. You have a finite level of playability within your turn. And gray, the very last number, that is how many items from your deck you're allowed to have in play. That does not count your pre-game card that you're allowed to start with. Now, you'll notice that Redgrave has twos all down her line, and if you look at Ikikazi's, he's our ninja, he also has twos. But you notice that the Pirate Blade can change the numbers. So, you can actually interchange each weapon with each other. Like you could run Ikikazi's Kasarigama, which adds a different stat line. So that gives you some sort of custability to it. That being said, what we're going to roll with is Redgrave and her Pirate Blade. Okay, like I said, she has an ability. She can do that once per turn that does not count toward her actions per turn. So with her and her Pirate Blade, she may take 4 actions per turn. So that's Redgrave. Now let's go through some other cards. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of the other cards that's in this game, the action cards, attack cards, and whatnot. So when you look at, let's say, an attack card like, I don't know, Backhand here. It costs 0 momentum. That's the top right-hand corner number. That number is how many successful attacks you have played. So if I have this backhand in play, I could actually next turn have 1 momentum because I have one successful attack. I would have 1 momentum to play other things. That will be either items, kind of action cards, which are blue, and other attacks, which bigger attacks cost more momentum. So that is an attack. You've got a name, the actual momentum cost, the ability of the card itself, and for deck construction, that's what this number at the bottom is. Deck construction is very easy. There are only 3 things you need to remember during deck construction. 50 cards per deck, no more, no less. Follow that number at the bottom. You may only have that many backhands in your deck. That's it, just 3. And if the card itself has an actual character name to it, so like Redgrave, she has something called the Black Spot, which I will pull out for you here. It's got her name on it right there, as you can see. That states that this card is just for her. So that is also an item card. All the other cards, like this action card here, Foresight, costs 0 momentum. It can be played on my turn or your turn. Actions reset every single turn. So on my turn, I have 4 actions. On your turn, I have 4 actions. Item cards, such as Sword of Pain, can be played on my turn as well. It costs 0 momentum. So they're all basically the same. They're also color-coded. Red for attack, gray for items, blue for kind of instant cards, action cards that can be played on either turn, and green for defense. Pretty basic, pretty simple. We tried to keep it as easy as we possibly could. So that is anatomy of cards. All right, well, this is the demo of the game itself. We'll give you a quick rundown of how to play. Like I said before, it's fairly quick. I actually taught a young lady how to play in about 5 minutes at a convention. and she taught the rest of the day. So I just sat back and watched her do it. So that being said, the first thing that you do in your turn is you draw 5 cards. So Jose is going to draw 5 cards and place them out in front so you can see them. I will do the same, but I'll do it off camera, and we'll just kind of leave it over here because we're just going to focus on Redgrave at the moment. Okay, so what we've got here is a line of cards in front of us. This is generally held in your hand where you can't see them, but for demo purposes, this is the way we teach people. If you're not happy with the 5 cards that you draw, you may shuffle them and redraw 5 more, and that is your one and only mulligan that you will get. You will be stuck with whatever you have. Jose, are you happy with what you have in your hand?
Yes.
Okay.
I see some really good cards there.
All right. So what's the first thing that you do during your turn?
I draw 2 cards.
So please do.
Draw those 2.
All right.
Down.
So once again, generally these are up in your hand and you can't see them, or your opponents can't see them. But let's see, you drew a scrolls and a kick. So how many actions do you have per turn?
I've got 4 actions per turn.
Okay, what's the last action you can do?
Will be my attack action.
Okay, so we will reserve our attacks until the end of the turn. Let's see, what other attacks do you have here? It looks like a backhand, a slap, and a kick. All right, as we discussed before about momentum, you're going to need to start building it so you can play your bigger attacks, your more finishing moves. So what do you have? What can you do first off?
First, I would start with my regular actions, which would be gray or blue cards.
Yep.
So first thing I will play will be the Sword of Pain. That gives me +6 to my attack. It has a momentum of 0, so it's not going to require me to have any cards in play in order to get that out there.
And that eats up 1 action, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going to use up my second action to play my Scrolls, which actually will give me another card every time that I draw at the top of my turn.
All right. Is there anything else you can do during your turn?
I'm also going to use Redgrave's once per turn ability to force my opponent to discard a defensive card from their hand.
Okay, so let's say I have these cards in my hand. Haha, magic. Let's say I have these cards in my hand. I've got 3 defenses. Green's defense, remember that. So I shuffle them up. And what are you going to do? Oops, I dropped one.
I'm going to force you to discard one at random, so I'm going
Okay.
to choose one.
All right.
The middle one.
And it goes to my discard pile, and the others go back to my hand. So that's Redgrave's ability. Does that take an action?
No, it does not.
Oh, it's the character's natural ability. That does not chew up any kind of actions whatsoever. So she has 2 actions left, but I do not see anything else she can do other than attack. How many attacks a turn can she make?
She can only make 1 attack per turn.
Okay.
Each character can only make 1 attack per turn.
Now, there are a couple exceptions to that. There are 2 individuals in the game at the moment that can either copy the last attack or their only ability is make two attacks per turn. But Redgrave can't, so we'll just go with her ability at the moment as far as attacking. What would you like to play?
I'm going to go ahead and play a slap.
Okay, why would you play that?
Just because of the fact that that card will stay in play, even if it is prevented, adding towards my momentum and giving me the ability to drop more, to drop better cards into my resource row.
Okay, and what total damage are you doing?
I'm going to be, because of the Sword of Pain, I will have 6. Because the slap is a 1, that'll give me 7, and then there's 3 over here for her base attack plus her weapon. That will give me a total of 10 to you.
Oh, that's not very good. All right, so like we were talking about earlier, the way the game is won and lost is how many cards you have left in your deck. So if you look at it this way, if I didn't have a defense and I've got, or at least the defense in my hand, I would go off my base defense of my character. Let's say I was playing Igakazi, which is a 2. So how much damage did you do?
It would be a total of 10.
Okay, I would subtract 2 from that. How much would be left? 8. So you would mill off the top of your deck 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's a significant portion of your deck right off the bat. But these are trial decks. The main full decks are around 50 cards. So it's not that detrimental in the beginning. It does sting a little bit, but some of the characters thrive on cards in graveyards. So it's not over yet. If you did not want to take the 10 out of the deck, or the 8, barring the defense off of Igakazi, you could actually, if I had these cards in my hand, I could discard 1, 2 to take the points away, and then mill 6 more for the additional damage. So on and so forth until you complete the total damage track. That is a successful attack, so it stays in play as 1 momentum. So next turn, it would allow you to play cards that have 1 momentum or less. So let's say we go through my turn, I don't defend against it, you have 1 momentum in play. Jose, you want to go through your next turn?
I'll go ahead and take my 2 off the top of the deck.
Okay.
Lay those out.
Also, what's the other thing you get to do? You have scrolls in play, so
to
scrolls
draw the
allows
third-
you to draw an
that
additional
third
card. So you have 1 momentum in play. What could you possibly do with 1 momentum?
I can only do kicks.
It's the way the deck rolled. So he's only got 3 things in his hand that he could do at the moment, and they're all the same, and they're all attacks. But he is not lost yet, because he also has Redgrave's ability. So if we were to continue, we could build up an entire damage line and drop in things like no quarter, special cards that are essential to characters' play in the progression of the game. Once your opponent's deck runs out, that's game over. If they cannot draw that last card, it's game over. So that is Worlds Collide. That's what we are trying to bring to the world. Something easy, something fun, something non-collectible.